Hi guys, this is the Wrestling Retrospective. I'm Leo, and in this video I'll be doing my review for AEW's Revolution 2024. So first up, we have Christian Cage successfully defend the TNT Championship against Daniel Garcia. This was a really good match and a really good way to start the pay-per-view off. It was contested very evenly, and like the whole rookie versus veteran, well, rookie-ish Daniel Garcia. The style of the match was executed really well. The fact that Christian faked a leg injury at the start of the match, but then Garcia actually injured in a work his leg, it was really like tactically smart from Garcia, and just ring sound in my opinion, and just it was really good. However, after some interferences from Nick Wayne, cheap shotting Garcia while the ref was distracted, your father and mine, Christian Cage, is still the TNT champion. I assume that Christian Cage will eventually lose the title to Adam Copeland, but I'm hoping this is going to be more down the line, just due to the fact of the kind of, in my opinion, the feud of Copeland versus Cage has kind of run its course for the time being, and doesn't need to be continuously going on and on and on. I would prefer it if it just stayed as it was for now, and then they picked it up maybe later on in the year. But yeah, for me, even in defeat, Garcia didn't look too bad. Like, I don't think any of his momentum has been lost just because of the interference way, the fact that Christian had to cheat to get the win. And yeah, Garcia is 100% championship bound at some point. When that'll be, I have no idea. But, he's a young guy, and he's got plenty more to do in AEW, and, a loss here isn't going to, as I said, it's not going to affect him too much. And as for Christian, I expect him to continue just being the greatest TNT champion ever. He's killing it at the minute, and I don't think taking the title off him soon, I think he's even in consideration because of just how much he's doing for the product at the minute, how good he is as a heel. I think it would be silly to take the title off him. But yeah, this was a very good match between veteran and rookie, and yeah, a great way to start the pay-per-view in my opinion. Following that, we had Eddie Kingston defeat Bryan Danielson to successfully defend the Continental Crown Championships. This was a great match, one that was very much enjoyable and one of the better matches on the show. Danielson's tactics at the start of the match to avoid Kingston's chops but reply very quickly with some stinging kicks was really good, and probably should have gone on a little bit longer than it did. You could see that it was affecting Eddie Kingston quite badly, as he was limping for more or less the rest of the match. Danielson then started targeting Kingston's arm, not only so Eddie couldn't hit an effective... I'd never know how to say his bloody finishing move. The Hurricane, I think. I don't know how it is. But either way, it's just so Kingston couldn't effectively hit his finishing move, but also Eddie couldn't shake Danielson's hand if he very much injured his hand if Danielson had got the loss. But still. But yeah, for me, Eddie Kingston just overall was really good in this match. He was trying to change up the way he was wrestling from more mat-based to more submissions, more thing, really following Danielson around the ring, but also keeping up with him very well. And not only that, but Eddie's selling is absolutely fantastic. It's from his body language, where he looks to be out on his feet, to his just facial expressions overall, where you can see it's genuinely affecting him, from each kick to each time Danielson even grabbed his arm. It was just very, very good. But speaking of facial expressions, Danielson's, every time Danielson hit one of his big moves, whether it be the Psycho knee, whether it be the triangle choke that he's choked out many of superstar, fucking, where do I think I'm watching here? He has passed out many of wrestlers with, for Kingston to escape that and kick out of the Psycho knee. You could see the frustration was very much getting to Danielson, which kind of cost him the match almost, because as Kingston got out of the triangle choke, some absolutely brutal slaps from each man to one another, but Kingston hit the powerbomb and got the win in the end. And yeah, it was just a very good match overall, very entertaining, hard hitting as all Eddie Kingston matches are. And yeah, definitely go check this one out, as it was I'd probably say top 3 matches of the night in my opinion. But yeah, both of them fully deserved the standing ovation they got at the end of the match, and Danielson did indeed shake the hands of Eddie Kingston, which I mean, fair enough. It's a show of respect. I can see the kind of Eddie Kingston versus Blackpool Combat Club saga being over now, and hopefully Eddie Kingston goes on to face just a more variety of opponents from New Japan with the Strong Championship, from Ring of Honor with the World titles. He doesn't seem to be on Ring of Honor very much to say that he's a Ring of Honor World Champion, and yeah, just on AEW defending the Continental Crown as well. And yeah, I think for me, I think if we're gonna have a returning Pac, which is what we got like a video of during the pre-show, then I would have Pac and Kingston maybe go at it at some point, because Pac did like go for the Ring of Honor World title in his last run. He was international champion, defending all over the place, the international championship. So I think a Continental Crown would fit him really well. But yeah, no, I'm interested to see what Kingston does next. I'm 100% wondering what Danielson does next, as you know, he has said he's winding down his career, and I am curious to see who he goes on to face next. But yeah, very, very good match. Do go check it out. And yeah, Eddie Kingston's still the Continental Crown champion. Next up, we had the All-Star Scramble match, which Wardlow will go on to win. This was really good. I felt like it was more of a comedy match to start with the first part being like the four big guys holding the ring, with Wardlow, Lance Archer, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Brian Cage kind of hitting strength testing clotheslines on each other, with the whole crowd chanting "meat" at them, which was very entertaining from a viewer's perspective. And then the four not so big guys holding the ring before it all kind of broke down after that. I thought it was just a melee of just like each guy kind of getting a spotlight moment and hitting a lot of offense on all the other guys, or most of the other guys. But in particular, Dante Martin, Hook, and Powerhouse Hobbs got really good showings in this match. However, in my opinion, this match was always Wardlow's to lose. And in the end, he got the win. Not easily, but it was very clear that he was getting the win by the time the end part came. But for me, it's like he hit a lot of wrestling moves and just like overall very good like in-ring stuff. Like, I don't understand why he's always having squash matches on Dynamite when he could be doing way more. Like, I understand why he's having squash matches, to make him look big and powerful and all that good stuff, but like, why not switch it up a bit and have him wrestle properly and like hard-hitting matches against people like Brian Keith? Dante Martin's a good one. Brian Cage, another good one. Just have like great matches against those, but also every so often have a squash match against some known guy from the city that they're in. But yeah, the point of Wardlow for me kind of reminds me of 2018-2019 NXT Keith Lee. You know, where he's a massive guy doing small guy things, and it's just absolutely great to watch. But either way, he's the new number one contender for the World Championship, and for me, I honestly think he should beat Samoa Joe for the World title. I feel like he'd make a great champion. He'd be, you know, he can do the big, powerful stuff, but also like, you know, put a suit on and represent the company. I know Joe does that as well, but for me, he just seems like a very good fit as World Champion, and he's fully deserving of it. And it's, you know, something he's probably been due for a long time, probably since he beat MJF at Double or Nothing a couple of years ago. But yeah, just I assume the match between him and Joe will come at Big Business or at Dynasty, and then we'll kind of build him up before we get to All In, where I'd probably have him drop the title to Ospreay. But either way, the match itself was very entertaining, very good, and yeah, I think for me the right winner, in my opinion, was Wardlow. As I said, it was Wardlow's match to lose, and he went on and smashed it. So yes, I look forward to seeing Samoa Joe and Wardlow go at it once again. Following that, we had Wardlow's team member from the Undisputed Kingdom, Roderick Strong, defeat Orange Cassidy to become the new international champion. This went down more or less how I expected it to oh my god, words! This went down more or less how I expected it would. Not that that's a bad thing, of course. Like, it seemed for the most part like Strong had a reply for almost everything Orange Cassidy threw at him, showing that he's done his homework and gone back and watched Orange Cassidy's like past international defenses, and just everything that Orange Cassidy threw at him, he reversed into an attack on his ribs or back, which was just absolutely tactically sound from Roderick Strong. It's probably one of the better matches I've seen him have, but I'm not a Ring of Honor viewer, so I know he did a lot of good stuff in Ring of Honor. I did see him in NXT, but again, I wasn't watching NXT all the time, so yeah, I look forward to seeing a lot more of Roderick Strong. I assume the open challenges for the international title will probably stop just due to the fact that he's a heel. But yeah, like every time Orange Cassidy had a flurry of offense, especially at the end, like Roderick Strong just had an answer, a reply, everything to target that guy's back and ribs, and it worked perfectly. And yeah, the one last flurry that Orange had, Kyle O'Reilly turned into the end of Heartache, and that was it. It didn't go particularly long. I didn't feel like it needed to go long either. It was probably a decent and good amount of time watching wise. And then yeah, Roderick Strong became the new international champion, and then from behind him, a wild Kyle O'Reilly appeared. And it seemed like he was going to attack him, and then he didn't. Then it looked like he was going to cry, and then he didn't. But yeah, like Roderick Strong got Mike Bennett to offer him his t-shirt into the Undisputed Kingdom, and Kyle O'Reilly didn't accept the t-shirt, but he didn't reject the Undisputed Kingdom either. He didn't like obviously say no or obviously say yes. He just kind of gave the shirt back and walked away. He seemed very emotional at the time. I don't know whether it's just a case of because he's so happy to be back in the ring that he's just, very emotional at the time. But I am very happy to see Kyle O'Reilly return to AEW, and I do hope he joins the Undisputed Kingdom, mainly because I want to do like a video for All In where I kind of predict / do the card that I'd like to see, like I did a few days ago for WrestleMania. But I feel like the Undisputed Kingdom are gonna have the Stadium Stampede match, and they need more numbers. Therefore, Kyle O'Reilly entering the group will be a great idea. And also, it makes sense just storyline wise. He's one of Cole's best friends, so why would he not join the Undisputed Kingdom? But either way, I hope that this kind of gives momentum to the Undisputed Kingdom story, as it seems to have massively lost momentum. But hopefully with the Wardlow win and the Roderick Strong win, and then maybe a returning Adam Cole soon, hopefully, the Undisputed Kingdom can get back onto kind of what the idea was originally, was to take over AEW more or less. But either way, this match was great, and no complaints about it, and Roderick Strong is the new international champion. After that, we had the BCC members Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli defeat FTR. I have mixed feelings about this match. Like, don't get me wrong, this wasn't a bad match in the slightest. However, it did take me a while to kind of get into it. Like, I appreciate good quality technical wrestling, but most of the time I really can get into it. But sometimes it's such a slow start to a match, I found myself getting a bit distracted. This match kind of reminded me a lot of the Usos versus the Street Profits from Money in the Bank 2022, where it just kind of had that slow start, but once it picked up, it was really bloody good. And yeah, this was certainly the case with this match, and I thought Dax bleeding was kind of unnecessary. Unless it was an accident, then fair enough. But for me, it just didn't add to the match, and it really wasn't like anything. And also, the when he got split open, it didn't seem like it would be something that would split him open. So I'm curious to see if that was an accident or whether he was supposed to bleed. And if he was supposed to bleed, it was kind of unnecessary. And if anything, if anybody is going to unnecessarily bleed in a match, it should be Jon Moxley. So yeah, I don't know what Dax is up to, trying to do a Mox. But still, it didn't help the match in my opinion. But what did help this match is the fact that at any point either team could have won going into the final kind of section of the match. Like, I had no idea going in who was going to get the win out of this one. And yeah, for me it was as soon as Mox put on the bulldog choke on Dax, and Claudio in what must have been the smoothest transition from going from the outside to the inside of the ring into a sleeper on Cash. And yeah, it got the BCC the win in the end. I can't imagine this is the end of the feud, just because they're probably going to give FTR a win back. So they've had a draw, a win each, and then a rubber match. But for fuck's sake, do not do an Iron Man match. I understand this whole thing has been about the war of attrition between the two teams. And the fact they went 20 minutes to a draw. They've done half an hour, and BCC have got the win. But please, for God's sake, don't do an Iron Man match. I don't know if I could sit through an hour-long tag match, especially like if it's anything how this one went down. But yeah, for me, great match in the slightest. Very mixed feelings about it just because of how slow it started. But a great match nonetheless. And yeah, I look forward to seeing where this feud goes next. As long as it's not an Iron Man match. Please don't do an Iron Man match, please. Following that, we had Timeless Tony Storm defeat Deonna Purrazzo in what was a fantastic match in my opinion. Not only one of the better matches on the card, but probably one of the better matches for the women's division in general. Like, I would put it up against any other of the top women's matches, and it would definitely hold its place there, if not be better than some, obviously. But yeah, especially from the style and diversity standpoint, this match started as a kind of more mat-based wrestling kind of match, which is obviously the preference of Deonna Purrazzo. It then transitioned into a more showboat style, which the current day Toni Storm would prefer. And that then transitioned into a more hard-hitting style, which we're kind of used to seeing Toni Storm go for throughout her career. And then, yeah, going into the final parts of the match, it was kind of a mix of all three, with, in the end, just due to some due to some distractions from Luther and then Mariah May, Toni Storm did get the win. The interference I'm not mad at all. I know I am usually, but this kind of fit the character and the story really well, and it means for me that Toni does consider Deonna a threat and was willing to do anything and everything to make sure that Deonna didn't walk out with the championship or get anywhere close to defeating Toni, though because the interference came just as she was tapping out, therefore, you know, she keeps the championship just due to the fact that the interference then set her up for Storm Zero. And yeah, she did tap out to Deonna, which shows that, you know, Deonna does have her number. So I do hope that this continues feud-wise. Maybe they have a rematch at Big Business where they can then transition this into Mercedes Moné's inevitable debut. But yeah, for me, absolutely great match and an awesome example of what the women's division can do. And all I ask is that we have more than one women's match on the main card. Like, I know we had the women's tag on the pre-show, but for me, the women deserve just as much time as the men do, and you know, they should be having more matches on the main card. And like, I'm a big advocate for women's wrestling. I think it's absolutely great, and the absolute packed roster that AEW have women's wise, they should be having more than one match on the card on pay-per-views, in my opinion. So hopefully this match showed once again how good the women are, and get them on the card more. Please, Toni. It's not hard. But yeah, for me, great match. One of the matches of the night. Toni Storm is still your women's champion. Following that, we had Will Ospreay defeat Konosuke Takeshita in what was 100% the match of the night. I hope somebody called the GPD because they stole the damn show. Like, what a match. Like, as far as highlights go, well, anything past the first 5 to 10 minutes was brilliant. You know, this match had me speechless at points. Like, the suplex on the top rope was brutal, and the mark that Will Ospreay has on his back is horrible. The forearms to one each other looked and sounded awful. Like, honestly, I couldn't believe that they were hitting each other that hard to say they were part of the same team. But yeah, like, as hard as it is to admit, Don Callis was right. This match was a match of the year contender already. And, you know, the fact that we're getting Will Ospreay every week on Dynamite and Collision and Rampage or whatever is going to be awesome. It's going to be hard not to give him match of the night every week. But, you know, yeah, it's something that I've very much been looking forward to, is having Will Ospreay around every week. And it's something definitely worth getting invested in AEW for. But yeah, as I said, like, I don't know much more to say. Like, it's just so good that, like, you go watch it. That's what I'd say. Go watch it. It's fantastic. I'll give you my login to Fight TV and you can go watch it. That's how good it was. Like, honestly, match of the night, 100%. And yeah, can't wait to see Will Ospreay in AEW. Cannot wait at all. Next up, we had Samoa Joe successfully defending the AEW World Championship against Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland. This was good. Another match that absolutely flew by. Like, each guy had multiple times of spells on top of the match. I did like how Joe took control of the match from the first move, like putting them both together and just beating the crap out of them both. But I did expect Joe to take a back seat in this one and kind of let Swerve and Hangman just go and kill each other, and then kind of sneak a win at the end of the match to retain, but that just wasn't the case. The match was action-packed throughout, and if indeed it's true, and I know it's all based on rumour, and it's all, what's the fucking saying now? It's all handguns and hand grenades and whatever, I don't know what the saying is. But if it's all crap and it's all rumours, I don't care. If Hangman actually tapped out just to make sure Swerve didn't get the win, I will indeed hate this guy as much as I hate Drew McIntyre in WWE. Like, it just... Why? Why would you cost yourself the world title just to cost another guy the world title? It's so fucking silly. But hopefully that's not the case. But if he came out and I know he's going to like a hiatus, I heard, but if he comes out on Dynamite, I was like, no, I wasn't letting you win, so I tapped out. I'd be so mad. Like, during the entrances, Hangman's name graphic came up, and it was Hangman on page, and above it said, has absolutely lost it, and I could not agree more. Like, honestly, Swerve is so far inside his head, he's not renting it, he's bought space there. Like, honestly, it's been absolutely brilliant to watch, though, like, the demise of Hangman Page into insanity. But, as I said, it was really good. I do worry what Swerve is doing after this, though. I know that he kind of has to go back to the end of the line for the World Championship and build himself back up again through the rankings, which will be entertaining to watch. I just hope they give him some good, decent feuds to get back up to that point, maybe later on in the year, or maybe probably into next year, I think. I did say at the start of the year that I thought Swerve was going to win the World Championship next year, not this year. For me, a dream match is Will Ospreay as World Champion defending against Swerve and Swerve getting the win there. I think that would be an incredible match. But yeah, for now, we have Samoa Joe as our World Champion, and he will go on to face Wardlow, as I said, at either Dynasty or Big Business. Personally, as I said, I would have Wardlow win. The momentum he's got, the promos he's cutting are absolutely brilliant. He's fully deserving. I just hope that once they do give him the world title, Tony Khan doesn't drop the ball with him again like he has done the last 2 TNT title reigns he's had. But yeah, so it should be really good, and I look forward to seeing who Samoa Joe's got between then and now. Like, I know there isn't too long between Dynasty and I think Big Business is not this week but next week. However, whether he faces Wardlow straight away, I don't know. I assume he will. But either way, I'm sure it'll be a great match. They've had great matches before. They have the awesome triple threat with Powerhouse Hobbs. So, yeah, see for all three, I look forward to see what they're doing next. Unless Hangman is going on hiatus, of which then we will see him later on in the year, I assume. But yeah, the triple threat match was really good. Maybe could have been a bit better, but it flew by and was very enjoyable as a match itself, as Samoa Joe continues his world title reign. And finally, in the main event, we had Sting and Darby Allin defeat the Young Bucks in what was, in a positive way, an absolute shit show. Like, honestly, what a match to go out on for Sting. Like, the whole thing was nuts. Like, Sting was being put through, I think he went through 3 tables overall. He got put through glass. There were multiple EVP triggers, multiple super kicks. Flair got super kicked. Ricky Steamboat got taken out. Everyone was there. Everyone was getting taken out. But for me, the biggest highlight of the match, and I'm sure everyone would agree, Darby Allin. Holy fuck. That spot from the top of the ladder, through the glass and the chairs, was fucking nuts. And a moment that will probably live forever in wrestling, let alone in just AEW. But man, why? When do we say no to Darby Allin? Because that is just an incredible spot, and I can't imagine how much pain he was in. But yeah, absolutely fantastic overall. Match was very much enjoyable. Probably a close second for match of the night just because of how fucking crazy it was. And yeah, just a really awesome way to see a legend of the business go out. And yeah, just an absolute highlight reel of a match, pretty much. But yeah, awesome nonetheless. An absolutely great main event that will probably live forever. And yeah, for me, absolutely perfect way for Sting to go out and to end the night overall. Just absolutely great pay-per-view. So yeah, Sting and Darby are still the tag champions, even though they're not. I think Tony Khan said he's vacating the titles. We will have, you guessed it, a tournament. Tony does love a good tournament. I assume we'll end at Dynasty. And yeah, I look forward to seeing how that goes down and who's in it and who wins it. I'm not sure who I'd really give the tag titles to at the minute if it's not the Blackpool Combat Club, who probably had the most momentum going into the tournament. But yeah, for me, absolutely fantastic match. Darby Allin is insane, and yeah, thank you very much, Sting. So those are my thoughts and opinions on AEW Revolution 2024. Do put in the comments down below what you thought of this moment. Darby Allin, class. Or what your favourite match was. Will Ospreay, Takeshita, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, overall in the predictions, I got 8 out of 9. I should have known Sting was going to win, but I honestly thought he'd be a traditionalist and take the pin, but he didn't. But yeah, 8 out of 9 for the first pay-per-view for AEW is pretty damn good in my opinion. I'm surprised I got that many. I don't normally get quite that good for AEW pay-per-views. But yeah, I said overall, going into the pay-per-view, I really wasn't that interested in what AEW were doing. I'd like kind of concentrating so much on WWE and WrestleMania, The Rock and Roman Reigns, that I kind of switched off from AEW for a bit, but this whole pay-per-view brought me straight back in it again. You know, having Will Ospreay be All Elite is absolutely fantastic way to get people back enticed in AEW, and hopefully bring more people in as well from New Japan. And yeah, just overall, just a really good showcase of wrestling. My only real complaint with the whole pay-per-view was the fact that there should have been another women's match on the main card. But other than that, it was very, very good. Very much enjoyed it. And yeah, do put down in the comments again any feedback for me, what you enjoyed at pay-per-view, what you think is going to happen at Dynasty, what do you think is going to happen at All In, anything like that. Do follow the Instagram as well, as I try and post whenever I can. Follow me on Twitter. I post about wrestling as much as I can, or as much as I can remember it. And yeah, just I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you all enjoyed Revolution, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.